Why do we find it hard to get out of a toxic relationship? A relationship goes to the toxic level because someone changes from the time we met them first. Now, a relationship doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic one. It could be that between a relationship of a parent and a child, a student or a teacher, a boss and an employee, or it could even be a relationship between two friends that turn toxic. But regardless of the nature of the relationship, what do we do when a person changes? Your change is that key word that turns a relationship toxic. Now, here in this verse, man asks the Supreme that because of the grief and despair of getting into that particular relationship with my own family is the reason that I am not able to fight in the war. That is what Arjuna says. And similarly, if we can take that moment into our lives, we feel that at a moment we are not able to get out of the relationship owing to the good old days of the relationship and hoping that we would go back to those magical days when we pretty well know that those days are never going to come. So we are hovering upon those little moments and killing ourselves slowly in the relationship without making any change. Now take the example of two friends here. Two friends, they have a good school life and a good college life, and eventually they launch a business together. And over time they have those differences and they don't agree to disagree. And eventually what happens is the relationship day by day starts getting toxic. And because of the toxic relationship of two founders of a company, the company is starting to get affected by it. The employees working for the company are starting to get affected by it. And more importantly, the two founders themselves are slowly starting to get affected. Now here, similar to these two friends, how many of us a relationship are we owed to where we do not turn that toxic relationship and end it right there, rather we prolong that relationship, which causes to affect us in the long term as well as a little bit in the short term. So why do we prolong a toxic relationship? The key word here is denial. For the first half of a toxic relationship, we are not aware that we have actually gotten into a toxic relationship. We don't accept that fact even if we do know. And that is why at times we hear the popular phrase by saying, I have given way too much for getting way too less in return. And that is why we feel bad for not taking the right path, though at times it is hard. Now, what I'm going to tell from here on is contrary to the popular belief where they say that you don't get out of a toxic relationship because you don't want to hurt the other person, or you don't want to cause grief to yourself, or you're showing gratitude for the good old days of a relationship. Frankly, it is nothing of that. And though it may be harsh, it is us the reason that is the cause of prolonging the relationship. Maybe we are trying to stay in the relationship for some hidden benefits, perhaps to fill a small hole within us, and that hole may be financial, emotional, physical, or sometimes even it may be social. Many people do not want to end a toxic relationship owing it to what the society is going to think about ending that relationship. Now here, to fill all these holes, the price that a person has to pay is a toxic relationship, and it is an expensive price. So here the Supreme asserts the point again and again is that let things happen naturally. If it has to end, then let it end and do not go against its own nature. So the question from these three verses is, what do we do when we get into a toxic relationship? Do we put a full stop then and there and end the relationship on the spot, or do we prolong it and in turn cause damage to ourselves and our surroundings? Now don't you forget, guys, it will always lead the way, and all you have to do is free your mind. And while you do that, don't forget to hit this subscribe button right here so that you don't miss out on any of your future videos, and click here to view our most recent upload. And as always, thank you for watching, and until the next episode, it is goodbye.